Hey, how's it going? Coming to you from my studio today. Come on in, take a seat, take your shoes off, leave your clothes on. That might be a little distracting. Let's have a conversation about art. This is the very first video I've ever taken about art, so I hope you like it. If you don't, well, love you anyway. The reason I'm doing it is because over the years I've had a lot of conversations with artists, art enthusiasts, and art patrons alike about everything under the sun about my artwork and artwork in general. So I figured I'd make some videos and bring it all straight to you. So let's get started. I have a question for the artist today. What do you do when class is over? The seminar is finished and the book is read, and you got to do all this on your own. Well, art, like anything else, to be good at it takes time in the saddle. So you got to bear down and do it yourself. And you can't stalk your favorite artist and hang out at the studio 24 hours a day. You might get a restraining order. So what do? Well, what I've done is I've picked my favorite artists over the years, whether it be masters from yesteryear or artists today, and I look at and see how they treat their medium. And what I mean by that is I see how they treat their edges, their highlights, their shadows, their tones, their values, and composition. And I don't mean copy their subject. I mean see how they treat the subject with the medium they're using, whether it be pencil, charcoal, paint, or clay. If you do that, pick a little bit here and pick a little bit there, you might come up with something really good. Now, I'd like to talk about edges and shadows today. I'm not a big fan of hard edges. Now, if you are, some people do, hey, great. This is art. Their own rules, knock yourself out. But I think a hard edge just kind of interrupts a piece when you're looking across a nice painting or drawing, whatever the case may be, and all of a sudden, wham, there's a hard edge. I think it interrupts the story. At least it does for me. Now, if the edge is nice and soft or it fades per se, it creates a better feel and flow to the piece, and that's what I like to come up with. Now, shadows kind of complement the edges too, and sometimes they stand on their own. So let's talk about that with this piece behind me here, He's Dancing with the Sun, and see what we come up with. Let's talk about edges and shadows now. Now, what I like to first talk about is over here on this side, on the nice smooth transition between this side of the face, jawline, and the cheek, and the dark shadows of the war bonnet. Now, we know there's a jawline here, but we don't need to define that with a hard edge. It's a nice, smooth, soft, fading transition. If there was a hard line here to define that hard edge, this whole transition and story would be ruined. And the dimensions that exist here wouldn't be there either. If you had a hard line, this would no longer be dimensional. It's the same kind of thing with the chin here. Now, we know there's a chin here that if you looked at this, there would be a hard line between the chin and the neck. But this form shadow helps create this nice smooth transition between the dimension of the chin down to the neck and creates a really nice feeling. It's smooth and really dimensional. Over here, we talked about hard edges. Now let's talk about this shadow right here. You say, well, Chris, that shadow has a hard edge. Well, there's a difference between a hard edge of a shadow and the hard edge on the edge of a figure. This is called a cast shadow because it's cast down because something is blocking the sun or the light. This area is the nose. But cast shadows are neat because they create a really dramatic feel and a really dimensional feel, as you can see right here. Now let's talk about the orbits of the eyes. Now the orbits of the eyes, are really dark back there, and we know they come from way back up to front, kind of like where the war bonnet is here on the face, but it's a smooth transition from that shadow to this, to the highlights of the brow, and that's what we want. You'll see another cast shadow line here. Well, this is a cast shadow. It's a hard line, but it's cast because of the war bonnet, and it creates a really dramatic effect. And those are the time it's okay to have a hard line on a cast shadow, but it's not to create a hard line on the edge of a figure interrupting the story. It needs to be nice and smooth. At least that's what I say. It doesn't need to be. I like it that way, where it is here and here and here. So that's about all I got. If y'all like the video, leave some comments, like and share if you can. And until next time, keep the West alive in your heart, your art, your mind, and your music. Y'all take care.